So I heard somebody say to me one time, maybe about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, never to be absent, never to be absent minded in the presence of greatness. And as I said it now, just a moment ago, it is as if I'm beginning to have new epiphanies on that statement that I heard 5 years ago. And it's like, sure, it makes sense, you know, don't be absent minded in the presence of greatness. If you know, if you made it to the ninth grade, you know what that means. I don't know what that beep noise just was. Oh. But how would one even go about not being absent minded in the presence of greatness? Because it's like the mind has to be ready to know, it has to be aware to know that there is greatness around. And if the mind doesn't already have that type of awareness, for whatever reason, how can it be? How can it know? But not only that, right? I feel like I'm kind of getting off point, but I guess the lane that I wanted to take it down was why you might not be present, why you might be absent minded in the presence of greatness, because you might not be emotionally, you may not have the emotional IQ. It's kind of like, I guess maybe one step before you could be present, have presence of mind in the presence of greatness, is you have to first believe that what's in front of you is great. And so why wouldn't you believe what's in front of you is great? I think a lot of that is context, because you have to calculate the value of all of your experiences, your surroundings, any individuals who may be, who may be a member of the scene, who may be a member of the context. And then there has to be like the ability to project where all this information is going to be going. Like, okay, this is who's here, this is where I am, this is what they have done, that's what makes them great, this is where it's going, this is why I should think it's great because of where it's going. Ugh. But this kind of also goes back to the idea of being insane enough to chase your dream. It's like, I don't even know if the main focus of this was to focus on the statement that the guy made to me as much as it was just about having presence of mind. And I think that's why the importance, that's where the importance of emotional IQ comes into play, because if you're not intelligent, like if you can't control your emotions, you can't make smart emotional decisions, you're not emotionally mature, then when something happens, great, whether it be high energy or low energy, whether it be in your face or something subtle, you're going to react emotionally. And even if you don't react emotionally, that's an emotional reaction, at least in the context of my point, because if the right emotion isn't triggered, you're not going to pay attention. If the right emotion isn't triggered, you're not going to know the value of the experience and the circumstance. So it's like you have to be emotionally prepared to assess the value of the moment and whatever greatness may be there, so that you may not be present, so that you may be aware and participating, never be absent minded in the presence of greatness. This is one of those thoughts that's like kind of slipping my mind as I try to talk about it, but you know, I find oftentimes that I never really realize how significant something is until after it's over. Like uh, my younger brother took me to Hawaii, and the whole when he invited me, it was kind of like, what? Like Hawaii, it was weird because he invited me to go to Hawaii, a place that I literally said to myself, I will never go there. So in that sense, it was surprising, but yet the way things play out in my life, it's almost like I expect it to happen. So even though he extended an invitation that I couldn't create on my own, it's like since it happened, I believed it. And so since I believed it, it took away the value, it took away its intensity. And so it never really fully seemed real until now when I reflect on it. I mean, even the plane ride, I mean, planning up to it, telling people I was going, then packing my stuff, getting on the airplane or sitting in the airport, seeing the airplane, getting on the airplane, looking out the window, then taking off, flying, seeing the city go away, flying over the desert, flying over water for hours, which was a whole nother trip. That was a trip to me, flying over water like that. And then finally, after hours, I see land. That tripped me out. I was like, oh my God. Like this idea, this esoteric idea, something that I've only heard about is right there. Like that's it. Like that's the legend of Hawaii, the stories that I've heard. That's it right there. And then we land, we get on, we get our baggage, we get in the car, we go to our hotel, and it's like, I guess I was in and out of moments where the experience was more intense at times than it was at other times. And you know, the plane ride, looking over, that was an intense moment. That was like that forced me to be present minded in the presence of greatness. But then when I got back on the land, like when I was in the land, on the land of Hawaii, I was absorbed by everything that was going around me. Like I was so busy paying attention to everything that was going on that it's like I was aware of my surroundings and my situation, but in another way, on another hand, I was absent-minded to the full gravity and intensity of the greatness that is Hawaii. So it's really kind of like upon reflection that those memories regain any sort of intensity, which calls to mind the awareness in this present moment that delivers the message, which is the example of why the man who said that to me that one day told me to never be absent-minded in the presence of greatness. Because there's a message there. If you're not paying attention, you might miss it. But my point with this video is, how can you consciously bring yourself to a place where you're not absent-minded in the presence of greatness and you can appreciate what's in front of you? I guess I rambled a lot. I might have to redo this video. Maybe I have to delete it. If anybody watches it, we'll see what they say. But if I were to try to talk about, if I were to try to like conclude it, I would say that what's important is your emotional state. Because if you're not in the right place emotionally, then what might you miss? What might be missed? Anyways, I'm trying to keep these videos under a certain amount of time. So I apologize, and I hope this made sense. I hope also you let me know if it didn't.